Hmm? Okay, homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, worthy one, and fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. Any questions? So we can continue a little bit what we discussed last week. So Michael.
Yes.
So you the last yes,
Oh.
the last yeah.
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about last week about brain and mind. How could we understand brain and mind?
Brain, mind, and consciousness.
Yeah, consciousness. In the Pali suttas, given 3 names, especially for the consciousness, mind. Chitta is the one word for the mind, chitta. Another word, manu, and another word, vijnana. Vijnana, 3 words, right? These 3 words means same thing, but explain differently, slight differently according to the situation. Vijnana, mana, and chitta. But in English, only the mind, mind and consciousness, right? Mind and consciousness.
Well,
they are any different with this mind and consciousness?
Good question.
What's that?
That's my question. I don't know. I have to start making things up. Consciousness is a more general term and refers to the thinking and awareness of all in general. But mind, we think of as being unique to us. So, for example, I talk about my mind and your mind. So usually in English, we think the mind is a product of my brain. And the consciousness, we often think, not always, but often think of consciousness as being more general, belonging to everyone. Please, somebody else get in here because I'm floundering.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Meryl going to explain it. Meryl?
No, I didn't.
No.
I got one word. It's more like awareness, and mind is more like the brain.
Our mind is okay, mostly the brain.
I would offer Bhante that consciousness is what we measure with EKG, with waves. When you're in the hospital, if you've had an accident, you're considered dead for intents and purposes if your consciousness cannot be measured. You're conscious if you're alert, you can respond, you can have brain activity measured electrochemically. Mind is a abstract conception. Mind has no measurement or
That's the
location.
foundation of consciousness or something?
No, the consciousness foundation is the brain.
Oh.
Is the electrochemical. That's what can get measured if, like, you're in hospital and you've had an accident. Are you conscious? Are you responsive? Can you talk to doctor? Can you sign the papers? Yes, I need help. That's your consciousness. Are you conscious? Mind is.
I think
abstract.
it is, for me, look like kind of life faculty or something.
Yeah, it's much more. Is life present in you? Are you there? Can I see you? It's much more helpful for medical.
What's mind then?
Much more abstract, very ethereal, abstract.
Okay, let's see.
My consciousness, often seen as a bridge between mind and body. Consciousness is bridge. It's bridge. Are you conscious? Am I alert? Am I in here? Can you measure it? Beep, 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 beep.
Bhante, I wonder if it's not so important.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to realize that it's subject to decay. Mind is subject to decay. Mind is not permanent. Mind is impermanent. Mind is like everything else, whether it be a mental image or a physical thing that we see, it's still subject to change. It's still impermanent. And
It's also an invention.
Subject
It was
to
historically
decay.
invented. It doesn't go back to ancient. It doesn't go back to Buddha time. Buddha never talks about mind.
Mind?
Yeah, he talks about thinking and mental processes, right, for the sankhara and for the dukkha, but he doesn't talk about we have mind.
I think Buddha has talked the vijnana and the mind, but it's a big topic in Buddhism.
Yeah.
This you remember the six sense basis.
Right, but what I'm thinking of is the invention by Western philosophy that mind came with the Renaissance to separate us from animals subordinated to a monotheistic God. We are humans because we have mind. The whole invention of mind was historical, not the way that Buddha thought it. I think today we have a confusion to connect with the Pali, with the teachings of the Dhamma on mind, because since Dhamma, there was the historical invention of mind with the philosophers and Renaissance thinkers like Descartes. I have mind, therefore I think, therefore I am. My mind is separate from animals. My mind is to separate me from plants. My mind is to separate me from God. It did a lot to create false discriminations and differentiations.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Let's go to the Buddhist teaching that we can understand this clearly to the Dhamma. It's very clear explanation.
Okay.
Yeah. So mind is conditioned. It's arising with reason. Dependent. It's dependent. Mind is dependent. When you see me, then you quickly mind arise. It's quickly arise and quickly die. If you have the same consciousness, how could you see someone else? And when you hear something, a consciousness arise in the ear.
I have a question. So now we're talking about consciousness, and the mind is connected to that. Yes, no?
Mind and consciousness. I'm not sure English, but in the Pali, it's called vijnana. Yeah, it's not the life faculty, now related with life anyway.
It's tricky.
Yes, the life always is, we have life faculty. the consciousness is kind of called nama, name thing. So it's quickly arise through this sense basis. When we see eye consciousness arise and then the quickly dying, is completely dying, and then that's the nature of the consciousness arise again continuously. For example, when I see you, I got then the I form, you are form, and then when the I see you, I consciousness arise, then the contact. Yes. Then when I contact, then I feel. Oh, I saw you. Then the sanya perception come. Then recognize. So it's Mariel, Shara, Chala, Priya, whatever it is, Nina. Perception they recognize. When they recognize, then produce Chetana volitions. So consciousness is dependent. For example, blind people doesn't have eye consciousness. Deaf people doesn't have ear consciousness, but they have another consciousness arising in different senses. The nature of it is dependent, arising when we have external sense objects through the nose, tongue, and body. So even in the mind, called mind, when the Dhamma phenomena come to mind, maybe when we bring something into mind, and then they keep producing, then we have that's how we feel sad when something come to mind. Sometimes we be happy when we remember something. That's the Dhamma in the mind, through the mind, and we have this feel with the whole body, and then producing thoughts. Then the Buddhist or conscious Buddhist call chitta. How chitta has explaining it as a bright thing. Suttas has explaining the chitta. Chitta has a bright thing, pure things. When we grow up, when the things come through the sense basis and it get defiled, that's the chitta, and how chitta has explained. It is bright like a baby, pure mind, right? But when the baby grow up and then he get ideas through the senses, then become defiled the mind. That defiled mind can call Manu. Manu. That's the sankhara. That's the karma. Manu. And then the vijnana is the arising in the very first point when we see something, when we hear something, when we smell, taste, and touch something. But it's temporary, arising and passing.
Perceptions come through sensations, all of the senses?
Yes, when we have kind of sense through the sense basis, then perception, what's the perception thing? Sanya, right? In Pali sanya. Sanjanatiti sanya. What is recognize? That's sanya. Recognize. Your memories. You know me. That's your sanya. And you recognize what is this kind of ball. That's your sanya. This type of thing is a ball. Your sanya. This kind of things, laptop, is your sanya.
Sanya means perception.
perception. Sankhara is the matter, karma. That karma gives rise to consciousness. According to dependent origination, remember? Sankhara is the karma, that's the cause of consciousness. Sankhara pacca vijnana. Sankhara gives rise to consciousness. In the Mahanidana Sutta explaining, when who has sankhara, then he die. Then Buddha explained three, then have to conception, right? Conception in the womb. And Buddha explained, Buddha asking Ananda, what do you think? If the vijnana not enter into the womb, is it possible to have a baby born of a baby? And Ananda said, no. Without vijnana, without vijnana enter into the womb, not possible to babies growing in the womb or birth happen. And again Buddha asked Ananda, what about the Ananda, vijnana enter to the womb, but is leave back. Enter and leave. Then Buddha asking, do you think, Ananda, it is possible to grow up a baby in the womb or birth of a baby? Ananda said no. Then Buddha asked again, what about the Ananda, the vijnana enter into the womb and stay in the womb, and then the grow up girl or boy, but however, according to the karma or something, whatever reason is consciousness, live back again. Then Buddha asked, do you think, Ananda, it's possible to grow up a baby girl or baby boy or birth happen? Ananda said no. In that case, probably could happen a dead baby, birth of a dead baby. So consciousness is a cause and the of life. So that means consciousness is moving, right? That means the consciousness moving, life to life, and consciousness give rise to a life. According to dependent origination, they explain vijnana pacca nama rupam, vijnana build form, physical form.
Just thought, in samsara, the wheel of rebirth, he goes, ignorance leads to action, action leads to consciousness, consciousness leads to mind, mind comes after consciousness.
Yes. Mind and same thing, mind or consciousness and same.
Mind and matter.
Yeah, matter and
You don't mind it,
yeah, matter and name. Nama rupa, matter and name.
consciousness precedes mind.
Huh?
We'll be here all day. Consciousness precedes mind.
No. Consciousness not proceed mind. Consciousness is take this way. Consciousness is the mind, okay? Take that way. Consciousness is the mind. That consciousness is the mind. Then enter into the womb, and then in the womb and grow enough of physical body and other name things. That's how we're born. That's the more important case. Then what's the relation with the brain? Then the brain is kind of things to make some functions, processing, data processing, come through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, like heart, like other parts of the body is all important. The brain is the same thing like heart, lungs, kidneys, blood or something like that. Same thing, kind of physical thing, but now related with mind. It's not mind, definitely, according to Buddhism. So, any questions? I think you gotta read the dependent origination, Paticca We have a books here, Paticca and then the 12 links of it, 12 links. That's the formula Buddha used to explain how these things continue. Dependent origination, right? You should learn to recite it, memorize it. A formula we can apply to anything. That's what Buddha's after enlightenment, after his enlightenment, and he taught his first Dhamma talk, and he said about this dependent origination, and then he also hesitated after he's been enlightened to teach because he saw the people, he thought this is very deep, profound, difficult to see, and difficult to understand, difficult to realize because the whole nation, sentient beings, are attached to pleasure, and then the raga ratta attached to lust, and then they enjoy it, and they flow in with it, they burn to it, they stuck to it, to pleasure, 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 and enjoy sense of pleasure, pleasure. And then Buddha thought, oh, if I'm going to teach this, it's make me tired. People are difficult. It's very difficult to understand and deep, profound. That's what he thought. But then he realized. Then the Brahma told, invite Buddha. There are many sentient beings can understand this Dhamma. If you not teach, the world gonna lose and this opportunity, and the world gonna destroy because it's a misery. Then Buddha see, and Buddha used his knowledge to see, and then he saw people is capable to understand. There are many of them, and different level of their understanding Buddha saw, and then Buddha taught. Any questions?
Is the practice for mindfulness and consciousness the same?
Michael, give me a minute. Practice.
So, are there different practices to, because when we do mindfulness, right, we're doing the breathing, and so are there different practices for consciousness? Is it the vipassana and mindfulness together gives you the consciousness? Are there different practices?
Yeah, different practices. For the okay, remember this way. Buddhist meditation have two practices. Samatha, vipassana, concentration and insight. Concentration and insight, that's all. Not mind, just concentration and wisdom. But the mind is, the samatha is related with mind. You don't want to make confused. Samatha meditation related with mind, focus, develop of mind.
Yes.
Vipassana is a focus on wisdom and develop of wisdom. Michael?
Yeah, it looks to me that most of the references in the suttas that refer to a mind that you point, for example, we point our mind toward the Dhamma, or we suffer from a sullied mind, a scattered mind. The translation seems to be chitta. So I'm just trying to understand the difference of the three Pali words. And I keep coming up with chitta, so I'm going to look more and see if consciousness has a different translation.
Yeah.
Chitta is like attention. It's not concentration, but it's just
Chitta.
attention, observation. Chitta.
I think the same, I think it is always good if you follow Pali words for this. Not a lot, it's just vijnana, chitta, mano, vijnana. That's the three words for the mind. Probably in Buddhism we talk about the vijnana. So these three words, chitta, mano, vijnana, follow with the Buddhist term. If you're going to term there, give some different ideas. The chitta, and Buddha also mentioned in the suttas, chittang itipi, mano itipi, vijnanang itipi. Because chitta or mano or vijnana, and then Buddha explained these three words as a one single thing. But Buddha used to slide the function of that differently.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in the birth, our mind are very pure. When you growing up, it's getting defiled, called mano. But not very often, sometimes. And then that means the chitta also Buddha has used it in some other how. The vijnana is always mentioned, the arise through the sense in the first moment. Right? Vijnana. The feeling, perception, and then the chetana, karma. That's called mano. Mano sanchetana. So, but these Pali three words represent the mind. Represent mind or consciousness in English. In Pali sense, it is non-material, mental thing, and related with matters. Yeah. Once Buddha said, in understanding these three words, chitta, mano, and vijnana, as one sense, like kind of a faculty, as a door, like eye. Once Buddha said, whatever come through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, what those all things experienced by what? Whatever come through the eyes, experienced by the mind. Whatever come through the ears, experienced by the mind. Whatever comes through the nose and tongue and body and experienced by the mind. See? Whatever comes through this, and the mind is the one important sense of these all sense bases. Mind experiences them all. Right? Mind experiences them all. Whatever comes through the sense basis.
Mind evaluates them all. I like this, I don't like this. I'm attached to this, I'm aversion to that. Mind evaluates them all.
Right.
But we experience it as flavor. You can experience flavor in your mouth, that's not mind. You can experience it physically, sensually, the touching, but mind evaluates it. I am attached to this, I am aversion that.
Yeah.
That's difference. His mind is evaluator.
Yes, there's in Abhidhamma explaining this is this very deeply. Mind and mind factors. Two different things.
And you know, Bhante, there's been very, very compassionate human beings. We could even say like bodhisattvas who have had very limited sensation capabilities. Like I'm thinking of historically a young woman named Helen Keller. She was completely blind, and she was a mute, and she was a deaf. And everyone else always thinks that is a lot of suffering. But for her life, she gave so much to humanity. So much. And we can think of like incredible genius like Stephen Hawking, you know, very limited in sensation capabilities. And with your Dhamma talk right now, I'm thinking to myself, do we need to reevaluate disability? The peoples who lack a seeing or the talking or the hearings or maybe some limbs? Because we think they have a lot of suffering. But there have been very exceptional human beings with extraordinary disabilities who have given profound compassion, like Bodhisattva in their time on this planet. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
they
they have a less suffering in a way. Mind not making attachments and aversions all the time. Something. Something to think about.
Yes, like whatever you say, those kind of some senses, disability people, some senses, and some other senses keep growing, extraordinary. And because the senses, for example, who doesn't have the hands and their legs become very extraordinarily usable things. That's natural. Who doesn't have the eyes and his ear could be work, or maybe other senses become very sharp.
What I'm saying is they have both recorded, Helen Keller and Stephen Hawking, in their memoirs, that they themselves felt they had very little suffering. They would say, don't suffer for me. My life is a wonderful and I'm giving back. That's very extraordinary. We think they have a lot of suffering. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, yes, but we cannot say that. But the very fortunate one, whose senses active very well, that's the fortunate one. Just think about yourself if you can't see or if you can't hear, if you can't walk. That's the very fortunate thing is the active these sense very well and use them very well. So, but nowadays there's so many things develop who can't hear, can have a lot of machines who can't see and they can read the Braille or something called readings. Braille readings, and then so many things is developed, and everybody is very it's not good. This is the time of now is very comfortable for everyone. So, what do you talk? Oh yeah, Igor.
Hi, everybody. Nice
Hi.
to see you all.
Mm.
And we are talking today about brain, mind, and my understanding, Buddha was maybe the first neurobiologist who understand from inside how brain is work, mind process. But study Buddhism, one time I was looking for retreat in our area in California, and I find school Goenka, Theravada tradition Goenka. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Right.
And 10-day,
Yes.
10-day retreat, and I was browsing website, and on the very first page there is a warning: if you have any type of mental disorders, we not recommend you. And that's my question is, all this teaching, Buddhist teaching, it's created for mentally healthy people. But you know, modern world, there are many people with mental disorder. And what Buddha said about the cases, how to build communication with that kind of people, and recommendation for them. You understand?
The Buddhism is very beneficial for who has mental health.
Mental disorder.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, and Buddha mentioned in the suttas, and some people's mental not well function very well, and mentally not very well, and mentally disabled, right? Called mentally disabled. They can understand things clearly, like a babies always behave like a babies, and then this means they are type of people we can see mentally disordered people, and then even they growing, but they're healthy but growing, but their mind is still the same like a babies, and they mentioned the Buddha, they can get the benefits, real good benefits of the Dhamma, because they are not lucky enough, because they are disordered, like blind ears or something, deaf or something. Eye is blind, ears are deaf, then the mind is disabled to understand things. Same thing, right? The cripple can walk, like faculties, the mind faculty sometimes get sick. It could be some people could born mentally disabled because of previous karma. Like some people born as a blind or deaf or crippled because of the karma. That kind of bad karma is give accordingly benefits. Yeah.
They use meditation in mental health clinics. It depends on if you're severely, mildly. Depends on your mental health condition.
Now I'm talking about the born in that situation.
In that situation, if you're severely
But they're not able to get full recover, right? They born and die that way.
Yes.
It's not true.
If you're severely autistic, you're not going to get the benefits. If you're mildly neurotic, you get benefits.
I know some people mentally get sick because of they're not born that way, and something happened and they become mentally sick, and then some meditation treatments and some other medicine treatments can get recover. But who born into that case and they born that disability, I don't know it's possible to fix it, but those days, maybe nowadays, maybe the medicine could be, a system could be developed, but those days, and they born in that way, right? And they die that way.
Yes.
And they miss the opportunity of the Dhamma.
Yeah. Bhante, can I Two things. First of all, every single person is different from every other person. People who suffer mental disabilities that they develop later in life or that they're born with are all completely different, one from the other. So I think the question is not so much that they cannot benefit from understanding because they can't understand, but rather the question is, what can this person understand? Can this person understand, for example, sharing a meal or anything that leads to the Dhamma? So I think when we talk about mental illness, disability, we're not talking about people who are completely outside the Dhamma.
No, yes. No. I mean the liberation of the full benefits of the medicine, Dhamma.
Yeah.
Kindness, support, generosity, right? Generosity, morality. Even these mental disabled people also can practice spirituality and develop some kind of good qualities like kindness, compassion, forgiveness, or something. But that actually, I focus the liberation of the last benefits, the final benefits of Dhamma.
Yeah. And quite. Where's my hand? Oh, yeah. Before we finish, can we talk a little bit about ear consciousness? Yes. My hearing is very bad, so I might be talking only about myself and not for others. But I think that we're losing a lot of the discussion because many interesting things are being said in the temple, but those of us online might not be able to hear them. So I want to suggest the possibility of having a microphone that can be passed around or something.
Okay. You always asking to repeat the question, but I've always forget it.
Don't worry.
Sorry about that. Maybe next time, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
Michael, that's a great suggestion.
So some way that the voice can be louder or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think, yes, that's good for now.
Yeah.
That's a good suggestion.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, let's transfer merits, share merits with departed ones and ghosts and deities with all sentient beings. By sharing these merits, may they all have a happy, good destination. Blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and these all good merits, good karma, keep you happy. Anubhavena, Sabba Dhamma Anubhavena, Sabba Sangha Anubhavena, Sada Sothi Bhavantu Te. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, thank you for joining and see you next week. Thank you, Meryl, for waiting whole session today. Meryl.
Okay. Thank you, Bante.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you. See you.